Hello, good morning. So, welcome back to the channel. I am here in a different location today because it's Monday morning and I am in a content studio. It's beautiful. I show you some clips from it. And yeah, just here to do a little bit of social media content because as a small business owner, you kind of have to do all these things yourself at some point anyway until you get to a point where you don't. So yeah, this is a cool place called Creative Canvas in Glasgow and I'm going to be filming some content. I've got a friend coming along we're going to do a bit of a podcast together. And as usual for me, I've had work to do, so I've kind of been dotting backwards and forwards between filming content and getting work done, answering emails, etc. But I'm going to switch my computer off for a couple of hours and really focus on what I'm doing because, it's important to get your messaging across in your social media and just to have a choice of like imagery and videos and like b-roll. It's just important so you can be creative on your socials and just have different sort of ideas and content to draw on. So I'm not the best at it by far, but I do try, and I actually won this day in a competition, so it's nice to be here. I'm excited. It's Monday morning, as I said. I've been up super early, did my jog, and then I wanted to get a couple of hours work done before I came here. So it's about half an hour from where I live. So it's about 10:30 and I'm here till about 2ish, I think. And then I need to get back to work, and I've got an online committee meeting tonight as well. So it's a pretty long day because I started work at about 7 o'clock, and I'll be finished probably just after 8 tonight, with a few breaks in between, of course. But yeah, long day, lots to fit in. I've got client work to do. I've got the fast track session that I delivered last week still to finish off in terms of writing it up. And yeah, so this week I am going to talk about the pros and cons of being a PR consultant. And there's a lot in it that I'm sure other solopreneurs or small business owners will recognise as well, and probably relate to. So stick around for that, and I shall be back with it soon. Okay, so I'm just going to talk through just a few pros and a few cons that I think are part of being a PR consultant. Now, I really do enjoy my job. I'm so lucky in a way that I get to do what I do and work with who I work with. There's always downsides, of course, to every job, but at the end of the day, this is just hopefully something that other business owners can relate to because some of the same pros and cons exist in lots of different roles and businesses as well. So let's just kick off with the pros. Now, I guess the thing I love about being a PR consultant is almost like the game of joining the dots. I love being able to make connections for my clients, whether that's connecting them with an opportunity on a podcast or in the media or at an event where they might be speaking. I also love connecting them with other people. There's nothing that fills me up more than seeing two people that I connected like a year previously working together, being really good friends, going on each other's, events and podcasts and that sort of thing, and introducing each other to different people beyond themselves. So I absolutely love that, and that's the first pro really, is just getting to enjoy those kinds of wins that just make it all worthwhile, to be honest. The second thing is my clients. My clients are a real pro. Now, I'm not saying I've always had dream clients or that I always make the best decisions when it comes to clients. However, I am very lucky to have clients who are really, really good at what they do, who trust me to work with them, and who are just really great people to learn from. I work with some business owners who have achieved incredible things, and some have been faced with like really difficult situations, moments of adversity, and they've had to, show extreme resilience and just an incredible amount of resourcefulness to get to where they are. and they're so driven, they're so full of ideas, they're so creative, they're so innovative in a lot of the ways that you would expect an entrepreneur to be, that I just find it an absolute joy to work with those people. The best clients for me are those who have a great story to tell. They love talking about their main area of expertise because it's their passion as well. They've got good experience in it, so they're super credible, and they just have a sense of urgency, but they also understand that PR is a bit more of a long game, and they have a decent amount of patience to see how it unfolds and to reap the rewards further down the line. So definitely my clients is the second pro on that list. And thirdly, when you work as a PR consultant, you get, well, for me anyway, such a varied insight into different businesses, into different organisations, projects, events, things that go on in life that otherwise you might not even know about. And I just, even from when I was a journalist, I always loved going into places I would never have had a chance to visit, like courthouses and prisons and police stations and places that you kind of got to see a little bit behind the scenes. And it's the same when you're working in PR, you know, you're working with businesses, you see what goes on a little bit behind the scenes, events, you see what's happening behind the scenes at the events. Different projects can be so interesting to hear about and to be part of. So I guess that's the third thing that I absolutely love about being a PR consultant. Now, when it comes to the cons of being a PR consultant, they probably align to other business owners as well. You might recognise some of these. Number one is definitely loneliness. So for me, I like being alone, but I do find it being at quite a lonely place to be running your own business, to be spending quite a lot of time just working on your own. And I guess, yeah, at times I do feel lonely, which is why I do seek out support and connection and, you know, just social enjoyment, I guess, with other self-employed entrepreneurs, business owners, solopreneurs, because we're all sort of in the same field, and it actually is just so helpful to speak to people. So yeah, I do spend a lot of time just working away here on my own, on my computer, on my phone, but I have to say that is where the results come from, and that is why I'm good at what I do, because the boring stuff is the stuff that delivers the results for clients. The second con I would say is the pressure. I'm only ever as good as the last result that I got a client. And very quickly that's forgotten by them and by me, and we need to move on and get the next result. So it's like a relentless knowing that you've got to keep delivering results to keep the client happy, to keep the client being a client. So I do struggle with this, being completely honest. I feel the weight on my shoulders a lot, especially at times when, you know, most clients things are going fine for, but there's always one or two that, you know, if you imagine it like spinning plates, there's always one or two that you feel like are just about to fall. And, you know, that's when it becomes a bit stressful, when you know that you haven't delivered something in a couple of weeks or whatever, and you know that they're probably thinking about it. In reality, most of the time they're not, but I'm thinking about it and imagining that they are, and it just builds up this pressure, and it does feel like a bit of a weight on you at times. But what I try and do is just come back to, look, do the work, do the work, do the work. Experience tells you that if you do the work, you try enough things, you're creative enough, and you are persistent enough, something usually comes of it. So I always just go back to getting on with my work. And the second thing that I always try and remember is pressure is a privilege, and it's a privileged position to be in this situation where people are paying me to deliver the kinds of results that they want, and I enjoy it, I love it, and I'm happy to take on that pressure most of the time. It's just sometimes it kind of gets to you a little bit. Anyway, the third thing that's a downside of PR is definitely not having the final say, not having any control over what appears in the media, whether someone says yes to a podcast guest that I pitch, whether someone lets one of my clients speak at an event. All I can do as a PR is get the messaging, get the information about that client as, sort of comprehensive and attractive a package as I can put together in a pitch and get that in front of the right people. And if I do that, I then have to trust and hope that at some point it'll lead to something, but I can't make that decision on whether they actually say yes to my pitch. And I guess that's one of the frustrations. It's one of the things that's sort of hardest to manage expectations in a way with clients, but I'm always totally upfront with that. And like I say, try enough things and you keep going long enough, it usually works out. So yeah, I guess overall, 3 pros, 3 cons that I came up with. And I feel like overall that probably does represent a fair picture. There's, like with every role, job, business, whatever it is that you're doing, there's going to be things that you love about it. There's going to be things that are not so great about it. But overall, if it's like a fairly evenly balanced thing, then pretty good. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you related to some of that as well. Tell me in the comments if you did. I would love to hear from you. So, I know I look a bit dishevelled today, but it's reality. That's just how I look. And it is one of those days where I'm juggling a few things. I am trying to get through a long work list, and I am doing a few life admin things that I need to do at the moment that are quite time consuming, but that's just what happens sometimes. So yes, dishevelled is probably a good word for today. We're about halfway through this week, and so far I've had a couple of things cancelled. I was meant to have an online meeting on Monday night that was cancelled. I was meant to have a committee meeting for something that I'm on. Tonight it's been cancelled. I think it's going to happen online tomorrow night instead. So yeah, the week has been a little bit full of chop and changing. But what I wanted to say is, one thing that really helps me when I'm working away, especially working from home, working on my own, is setting myself little goals and challenges for that particular piece of work. So like this afternoon, I have been pitching for a client of mine, and what I do is basically say, I'm quite brutal with myself. So I'll say, like, I don't get to stop until I have found like 5 or whatever the number is. Usually for me, it's like 5-ish opportunities to pitch that client to that I'm happy with. So it's hard sometimes because it means that I could be here for half an hour to find those 5, or I could be here for an hour and a half to find those 5. And I am quite tough on myself, and I really don't let myself move on to the next thing or go out or whatever until I've found those things, because I think just like set yourself that target, stick with it, go for it. And it's that sort of discipline. You may agree or disagree with that, but it's that sort of discipline, I think, where I just do another one and get there, that helps me get the results. Because it could just be that next one, that 5th one, that is the one that comes back and says, yes, let's do it. And so that's why, that's my approach basically. And I think if you've got a similar piece of work to do, what goals can you set yourself? What challenge can you bring into it that's going to really push you to do a good job of it? So there you go. That's my approach. Works for me. Give it a try, and you can let me know in the comments if it works for you. Hello. Friday again, and yeah, just getting ready for the school pickup. It's actually really warm here now. I don't know why I've got this jacket on, because I am far too hot. I'm going to take it off in a second, but just a little roundup from the week. It's been another quick week. Some really nice PR results this week for clients. I'm quite chuffed about a few things. Had one client who's been confirmed for a big business festival. So that's 3 of my clients now that we've got a yes for from that particular festival. I had a client who featured in the Daily Mirror, Daily Star. I've had clients who featured in the Scottish Sun, as well as a client who featured in a women's magazine. So yeah, happy with that, happy with what I've been up to this week, and few potentials in the future as well that could be quite interesting to work on. Other than that, it's just been pitching. I'm testing a couple of tools just to see how we can bring some AI into PR, both behind the scenes. I already use it a little bit behind the scenes for, as you know, like a kind of like a research assistant, but how I can use it for clients to basically serve more people, because there's only one of me at the moment, and it would be in a different capacity to how I work with clients right now, but it would also be at a different price point. So yes, testing that is looking quite good. I had somebody else test it for me and they were sort of really impressed with it, so I think we're nearly there with that one. And then on Storm Safe Crisis Communications, we're looking at an AI option for that as well. Well, AI built, we're training it, so that's what's taking a little bit of time, is for us to train it, so we know that it's not just drawing on any old slop from the internet, it's actually drawing on our knowledge from the last 20 years each in PR and dealing with PR crisis. So that some exciting stuff going on. It's just hard to fit it all in, and the testing process, I mean, it can just literally just be endless, it feels like, because you're never quite 100% satisfied, but at what point do you actually just go, okay, it's good, we're going to launch it, and we can, you know, address any little snags as we go. So yeah, struggles this week, probably just been fitting things in. I am still trying to get some PR success for a client who's travelling to Australia next month now, and it's not proven to be that easy. Well, I didn't think it would be easy, but it's proven to be extremely difficult, actually, honestly. So still trying on that. I've been doing more on that today. So yeah, don't really know what else to update. I am going to a Rubik's Cube speed cubing competition this weekend. Random, but true. So quite looking forward to that. And yeah, hope you've had a good week. Hope you found this video interesting, relatable, especially if you're a small business owner. Do put a comment to let me know what you love and maybe don't love quite so much about your business. And yeah, I shall see you in the next one. And if you've enjoyed this, please do remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.